You have submitted questions that you were able to do so out of the lobby that you have for specific candidates. Just to kind of outline what's going to be happening here tonight, we are going to introduce each of the candidates individually. They'll have 3 minutes to introduce themselves to you in an opening statement, and then we will have an hour of questions. We will not be taking any questions from the floor, but we will be asking questions of specific candidates from the bags that were out in the lobby. We'll be taking questions from each bag and asking a specific question to the candidate. They will have about 5 minutes to answer that question. And then at the end of the question and answer, which runs for about an hour, we will allow the candidates 5 minutes to kind of sum up their candidacy for you one last time. And then that will be our forum tonight. Mr. Bill Hughes is acting as our timer tonight, so he will keep everybody within the 3 minutes and 5 minute lengths. And we hope that this is a very informative session for everybody who is interested in the school board races, and that's just about everybody in the Ligonier Valley, of course. All right, so let's begin by introducing each of the candidates for you, and we will allow them, as we said, 3 minutes to introduce themselves. We'll begin here to my immediate left with Mr. Irv Tantlinger. Irv is an incumbent in the Ligonier Valley School District. He's a resident of Fairfield Township, been a Ligonier Valley School Director for the past 10 years. He is cross-filed for a 4-year term on the board. He's a BS in Business Education from IUP and his Master's from the University of Pittsburgh. He served on the Board of Trustees for the Westmoreland County Community Trust, and a member of the Fairfield Volunteer Fire Company for the past 30 years, and a lifelong member of the Fort Palmer Evangelical Church. So please welcome Mr. Irv Tantlinger.
Thank you, Bill. I think you took my first paragraph away from me. I'm a 1961 graduate of Laurel Valley High School. I graduated from Indiana University of Pennsylvania with a bachelor's degree in business education, and I received my master's degree in vocational education from the University of Pittsburgh. I have subsequently taken 30 credits towards a doctorate degree at the University of Pittsburgh. I taught business and marketing education for 35.5 years. In addition, I taught microeconomics, macroeconomics, and small business management on a part-time basis at the Westmoreland County Community College for 3 years. I have served as a trustee for Westmoreland County Community College for 10 years, including the office of president of the board for 2 years. During that time, we expanded the WCC campus to the Monessen area, the Bushy Run area, and New Kensington. In addition, we added 2 major buildings on the Youngwood campus. I have also served as a Fairfield Township supervisor for 8 years, and an elected auditor for the township for several years, and I also served for several years on the Westmoreland Educational Trust Board in Greensburg. I've been an entrepreneur with several businesses, including international marketing business. I had a small trucking business, and I had a restaurant at Greengate Mall for 8 years. I've also parked in a dairy and hay farm with my brothers most of my life. Currently, I work for my wife and sister-in-law at our greenhouse in Fairfield Township. As a member of the board of Ligonier Valley School District for going on to 10 years, chairman for 2, I have been an advocate of running the district as you would run a business, consolidating a declining enrollment into a more compact operation. As a result of this movement, we have saved taxpayers $1.3 million each year and each subsequent year from now on. And the most important thing is that all of our students now have the same curriculum and are given the same educational opportunities. This election is the most important election that the residents of the school district will ever be confronted with. We must continue with this effort, or we will be faced with a divisive board that could lead to the possibility of the reopening of the Laurel Valley Middle High School. It's been estimated that that reopening would cost somewhere in the area of $3 million. Now is the time for all the residents to vote and allow the current board to complete its task. Thank you.
Thank you, Irv. Next, we'd like to introduce Lynn Sulkey. It has been a resident of the Ligonier Valley for about 14 years. Her oldest child was in kindergarten when she moved here. She has been active in the Hollow Tree Players and also actively involved in local athletic and academic programs. She is the mother of a 2010 Ligonier High School graduate, and she has a son who will graduate this year and also a third grader. So she is cross-filed for the May 17th primary, and please welcome Lynn Sulkey.
Thank you, Bill. Good evening, and thank you all for taking the time out of your busy lives to come here this evening. Education is something that is so important to all of us, and it will have this current election will have a huge impact on all of us. Whether you're a taxpayer, whether you're a parent, or just a resident of the community. And I stand before you this evening. I have hashed and rehashed what to say tonight. But I am not here just as a candidate, but as a parent, a businesswoman, and a very concerned citizen of the community. As Bill said, I do have 3 children who have grown up here in Ligonier. My daughter graduated last year. She's currently attending Penn State and pursuing a career in the field of law, I hope, and that's what she's planning on. My oldest son is now a senior at the high school and will be heading towards South Carolina to go to Coastal Carolina University in the fall and study marine biology. And I do have a third grader, so I have vested interest in what happens in the school district as a parent. As far as my career goes, I've held upper management positions for several different companies and have owned and operated my own business. The decision to seek a position on the school board is something that crossed my mind several times in the past. But what we are faced with right now just compelled me to finally take the step and seek this position. Our school district has the potential to lose over $900,000 in state funding. Academics should be number one, but in addition to that, it's very important to try to form a well-rounded individual, and the school should still be able to offer opportunities in the arts and athletics as well. And I think that the school district is quite capable of doing so, even with these cuts. Whether a child's going to go on to secondary education, enlist in the military, or seek a career after graduation, everybody has different talents. We're not all geniuses, we're not all gifted in different areas, but I think it's the school's responsibility to develop as many of those areas as possible. I hope that we can all come together and find some solutions to... Oh, my time. Shoot. Anyhow, I didn't get to touch on anything. I will later, though. I'd like to touch on some other issues that are important to me. Sorry, thanks.
Next, we would like to introduce Bruce Robinson. Bruce has been the general manager of Laurel Valley Golf Club since 1990. He's currently serving as chairman of the Delphi Education, Inc., and a member of the Adelphi Board of Directors, and a director of Commercial National Bank and Trust. And please welcome Mr. Bruce Robinson.